Officer Jolene Jonas and her husband Ricky had been overjoyed when Jolene finally learned she was pregnant after years of longing. Their home, a charming house with a spacious yard and beloved horse Keola, framed a picturesque life. But as Jolene's belly grew, so did Keola's strange behavior. The once joyful horse became clingy and restless, constantly nudging Jolene's stomach, draping his head across her side, and even licking the sensitive skin. At first, Jolene laughed at the affectionate gestures until the gestures demanded answers. By her 18th week, Jolene was experiencing severe back pain whenever she walked. Concern rose in her chest. Ricky whisked her to the hospital, where routine ultrasound results were revealed as okay, but weeks later, Jolene's discomfort worsened. At 23 weeks, she was rushing to the ER in agony. A hurried ultrasound was performed, but the moment the doctor glimpsed the screen, his face drained. Without warning, he turned and dialed the police before saying anything to the couple. Jolene's confusion transformed to panic as an officer arrived and escorted Ricky out for questioning. Left alone in the examination room, Jolene's anxiety swelled. Why was the doctor calling authorities? Why was her husband taken away? Juggling fear for her baby and physical pain, she agreed to urgent surgery even though she had no explanation. Meanwhile, in an interrogation room filled with harsh fluorescent light, Ricky answered a bewildering string of questions about their relationship, home, and pregnancy. His anger surged as minutes passed with no answers. He snapped at the officer, refusing to comply further. Without warning, Ricky was transported to the police station to continue questioning, still unaware of why he'd been separated from his wife in her time of need. Back at the hospital, Jolene prepared for surgery. A sense of dread settled deep inside her, heightened by the knowledge that her husband was missing from her side. Then the doctor returned and explained that surgery was necessary to protect the baby's health, though he could not elaborate. Jolene nodded, tears in her eyes, and placed her trust fully in the medical team. At the police station, Ricky's frustration turned to shock as he watched a police lineup. One of the figures wearing a suit and white coat looked uncannily familiar. To his disbelief, it was his own doctor, the one Jolene had trusted blindly for years. When Ricky told the officers who it was, they softened and finally revealed the truth. During the ultrasound, the doctor had discovered a microchip embedded in Jolene's body. This chip, not medically approved, was capable of administering medication, tracking location, and even connecting to networks. It was the source of Jolene's pain, and it was planted without their knowledge. As soon as Ricky understood what had happened, police arranged transportation so he could return to Jolene. Racing through the hospital corridors, he finally found her just as she was wheeled toward recovery. His relief was overwhelming when the doctor informed him that the chip had been removed and that both Jolene and their baby were safe. The surgery had been a success, and Jolene's painful symptoms were expected to fade. Weeks later, Jolene gave birth at full term to a healthy baby girl, whom they named Julia. The doctors confirmed once more that the chip had been the cause of Jolene's discomfort. Keola, their horse, rejoiced at their return home. He nuzzled both mother and daughter gently, offering comfort and love with no hint of the earlier odd behaviors. As they settled into life as a family of three, Jolene and Ricky looked back in awe at the bizarre ordeal. Their horse had sensed something wrong long before any testing, responding with instinct and loyalty. What first seemed like strange affection became undeniable foreshadowing. A creature unable to lie had witnessed what humans could not. Keola's initial clinginess and protective gestures assumed new meaning. Animals can sometimes perceive threats we overlook. Jolene, grateful for every moment of her journey, the pain, the fear, the surgery, and ultimately, joy, often whispered to her daughter, "Your horse loved you before you were even born." The story of how intuition, animal love, and extraordinary medical discovery intersected became one they shared at family dinners and birthdays. At home, each time Keola gently touches a hoof to Jolene or leans toward the baby's crib, Jolene smiles. She no longer questions his behavior. She knows it came from love, from vigilance, and from sensing the unthinkable before anyone else could. Their daughter Julia sleeps peacefully nearby, wrapped in a quilt that carries whispered gratitude to Keola, hero, comforter, and silent guardian of their family's well-being.